Hi, all you beautiful souls. Today we are outside going live because it's beautiful out, and I just didn't want to quite sit in there. It's a better environment out here. Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of like timelines and reality shifts. The past couple days, things have been happening. I've been experiencing things, and other people have been experiencing things. Let's just get this situated a little better. Um, Now, went live before and it kind of got interrupted. So I had it up and then I kind of deleted. That's my pool in the background. It's not filled up yet. Wish it was, though, but all works out well. Now, a, a week ago, roundabout, it started kind of then like I was realizing that things just kind of didn't make sense and what have you. And then well, they say things happen in threes. Well, we were I was going somewhere, and I got back. I went to the lake yesterday because it was my sister's birthday, and we were there and we were having a good time. And my sister, she kind of looked at me, and I'm going to explain that part too. She's saying like, kind of, why do you speak like that? And what I explained to her is sometimes I say things in English prior to saying it in the universal light language. And sometimes I speak it and then I say kind of the gist of what it means. And there are other times when my higher self takes over and it just comes out really fast. So I don't always catch it, but usually that's from my higher self to yours. Now, I went to the lake, and when I come home, things seem to be fine. I have a cat. My cat is his name's Rolly, and he was outside, and I'm telepathically connected to him. So I'm always like talking to him and saying like, "Where are you?" And he tells me, and he's usually right down there by the pond or right up there at the top of the yard. Now, last night, it was very strange. It was like I shifted realities. I come out my door and I was calling for my cat, and he's like, "I'm here, Nanny. I'm down by the pond." And then all of a sudden, like I was going looking for him, and he was meowing, and I was kind of getting a little bit of like anxiety because I couldn't find him, and I was shaking his treats, and he, like, usually he'll come running, and then all of a sudden the communication kind of stopped. So I went into he was calling for help. Like when it stopped, he started saying, "Help, Nanny, I can't get out." So I'm running around, and I end up like freaking right out. Like, I mean, literally like screaming and crying and hollering for help. And then I heard it sounded like something had attacked my cat. Okay. Now, to me, my cat is like my child. Okay. So I went into mama bear mode. Okay. First off, I was going around the pond saying, "I can't get to you. I can't get to you. Come to Nanny. Come to Nanny." And I'm screaming and I'm crying and just like, it's coming out. And I start, because I have my staff, and I start going and I start swaying the staff through all that crap down there. Sorry. All that stuff down there. and I'm shifting through it and I can't find him, and I'm going like this, and I'm going around the pond, and I'm screaming and crying and telling whatever had him to let him go, and what have you. And I was like ready to rip whatever had my cat. I was ready to rip it apart. That's how intense it became. And then I was looking, and like there's so many alder bushes there, and I decided, like, I just went in and I just started like trampling the alder bushes and ripping them out of my way, and just like it was like the instincts kicked in. It was like I was out to save my baby. And I was like freaking, and then all of a sudden I heard this girl say, "Are you okay?" Like it was weird because nobody was coming, and I'm like, I got people. And it was these two little girls. Okay, one about 13, 14, and the other one I think she was about 9. So I call them little brave angels, because I thought, like, the way it was happening, they were brave to come, not knowing what they were walking into. So I say, I send them much like love, because it's like they, it was just like they didn't care. They were coming to make sure things were okay. And I come out of from down there at the back, kind of off on this side in the alders. I come out after I heard her, and I was like, hello, hello. And I look down and I see this thing in the yard, and I start walking closer to it, and I realize, well, that's my cat. So when the little girls came, when the young girls came, it shifted me back into my own into reality. So I was going after my cat, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. Like, holy shift. Like, what is going on here? And it's a matter of sometimes we can't stay calm. Sometimes our instincts kick in. It's kind of the wake up thing to see, like, okay. And I got my cat, and Nanny, I didn't hear you, is what he was telling me. I didn't hear you, Nanny. So that's stuff that's happening. If things seem out of the ordinary, I have to learn to stay calm. But like, this was not a time for me to be calm, because it was like my baby's in trouble, and I'm going to find out where. Um, Another time, uh, I went I went somewhere. So when we come back, we turned at this restaurant, because we turned at the restaurant, and we went about, we were only gone about, and when we turned there, sorry, and when we turned there, it was packed. It was one of those walk up to the window restaurants for fast food or ice cream or what have you. And the place was packed. Like, people were sitting there eating their food and what have you. And we went back up the road, and like 5-10 minutes later, we come back, and I looked, and it was like, well, that's empty. There was one person that had just pulled up and was getting out of the car and walking up. So it's like those kinds of things. It's shifting timelines and shifting realities. Um, Last night, someone close to me, they had a fire. It was a garage fire. And they had like lots of gas in there, and like the stuff in four-wheelers and everything, things that would just explode. But they weren't hearing it. They weren't hearing the explosions, and they didn't even know there was a fire until they started smelling smoke when it was pretty much done. So that's part of like you're on different timelines, you're on different realities, like it, and it's kind of like, well, someone's there 1 second and then they're gone. It's like, well, what happened? Like, what? I have someone who used to call me, they'd call me the evaporating lady, because I'd be there 1 minute and then the next minute it's like, where'd she go? Okay, you're shifting, you're shifting realities, you're shifting timelines, dimensions, like things I explained before. If something's there and then you go back 2 minutes later and it's gone, well, something changed. It's like the movie The Matrix, when it's kind of a, and also with the deja vus. Deja vu usually means that this has happened before. We aren't always conscious of it, but then when you realize, like, wait a minute, what just happened there? Like, I thought I was going to find my cat tore apart, because that's what it sounded like. But like I said, I was on a different reality timeline type thing. And we're kind of jumping. We're going between timelines, the good, the bad. It's like 5 down, up, down. You're seeing different things, like when it might be there and then it's not. And like, I know other people who've been finding different things in the yard. Like last year, we were down by the pond, but we didn't know that we had peppermint down there. And there's, like, all around the pond, it's packed with peppermint. We've been noticing different plants, different trees, things that we hadn't noticed before. As I said before, like I stare at the sun all the time. Like, it's right there. And I like to stare at it because it's healing my eyes. And some people mock a person, say, oh, well, you can't see that. It's like, well, so what? Maybe you're on a different dimension. Maybe you're on a different timeline. Maybe you're in a different reality. Maybe you're in a different dimension. I had someone tell us that they seen on our house, there were 2 other outside water taps, where people think, well, what does that have to do with the tea in China? It's like, well, maybe that person was seeing a different timeline. They were seeing a timeline where it is there now, because things are changing, people are doing stuff. So when that happens, you shouldn't get mad at people. And another thing, it's like, and someone told me before, which is true, don't assume something, because that's how rumors get started. And that's why we're in the mess we're in today, because people write stuff assuming, but that's not what you need to do. We have to stop assuming and, like, know the truth before you put something out there. I know with my sister's fire, someone said because it was an old barn, people automatically assumed, hey, well, people use the old barns as garages now, or shed type things. So when you do that, like, it's the whisper in the ear, and you tell somebody something, and then they tell somebody, and it gets all distorted. Kind of like what is happening with our realities. Things are just like, this don't make sense. Like, how is this possible? Like me last night. One other time, it was just last, dang, last year. I was sitting up here and all of a sudden I heard an animal squeal. To me, it sounded like a deer. And I heard a splash in my pond. Well, I took the flashlight and I shined it down and I didn't hear anything or I didn't see anything. And I hopped in my car and I went right down and shined the light in and didn't see nothing. It was because we're shifting timelines. We're shifting all over the place. And they're saying, like, it's like you say to something, oh, well, you're crazy. Well, no, they're not crazy. They're awake or they're waking up. So I've told people before, like, you don't call people crazy because nobody is crazy. We're in a crazy time right now. We're in a crazy world right now. And there's a lot happening that don't make sense. I pooped on my sister the other day because I'm scared for her. Because she's talking about she don't want to live in a world like this. But it's because she's looking at all the negative stuff that the biggest majority of it she's looking at. It's just to cause fear, cause havoc, to cause people fighting with one another. We need to start listening to each other and start sorting things out, because everybody's reality right now is kind of it's sort of different. So I'm here mowing my lawn with my hands, picking at the grass. But it's good for grounding. Okay. Like last night when that happened, I went running for somebody and they were gone. And I'm glad because holy crap, it would have may have just made matters worse. But when I heard the little girls, like I put my cat in and I went up around the side and I went up top. And these two little girls will come to find that they were the young girls that lived in front of me. And they were on my plane at that time because they heard, and come to find out, like I'm finding out that they're just like me. And she when the young girl, she said, okay, well, like, what am I thinking? Because like, you got to test people, you got to find out if it's for real. And I told her, I said, you're wondering how I speak like that. You're asking how I speak like that. And she kind of laughed like, yeah. And she told me that she was telepathic and her little sister's telepathic because they're indigos. And the young ones, they're awake, but they're afraid to tell people. And nobody should be afraid, because like I told them at the hospital when I was in there, because I was in there 3 times last year. Well, twice last year and once this year, the beginning of the year. When I went in there, I told them, like, you might want to be ready because there's more people like myself coming and your medications don't work. So it's like you have to help them to get through it, because it's not that they're crazy. They're just experiencing the shift. They're awake and they're noticing things now. So when I've said about psychosis. Psychosis is psychic SOS. The universe is looking for all the psychics, and everybody's waking up. So we need to kind of like I kind of I'm dragging someone out of the matrix. I started dragging them. And like I said in one of my other videos, I called them a coward. I told them that they were nothing but a coward bully and a hypocrite. I've been a hypocrite before. Sometimes we're all can be a hypocrite for certain things, but that's what we're learning. It's practice what you preach. So I'm practicing a good, healthy diet, and I learned that from someone else. Well, I think something just happened there. It's like something drained my battery because my battery was charged. So I'm taking you inside. Once I find my charger. So thank you for bearing with me. It's really warm outside too. So bear with me on that. And my house is a little disaster type thing. And I'm in my bikini. So just give me 1 second. You're going to see me get dressed, and that's okay. This is part of what's happening. Excuse me. It's like things kind of get in the way and kind of get glitchy. Now I'm going to take those back off. Oh, wow. It is quite warm out. As we all know, I'll turn that light on. There's been heat waves. Some people, I've heard that some places are having lightning storms. The energy is coming in hot and heavy. I myself have been doing some screaming and crying and going in the fetal position and shaking my head like this ain't real because well, it's not. And my cat thing last night, that was a prime example that like it wasn't my cat. There was nothing there because I was like literally whoosh. The power was coming out. And I'm down in it's like it's a quarry. So you're down in a hole. So it like everything just kind of echoes. And I exploded. Yeah, you did good. It's all good though, right? So when things happen and you realize that like, wait a minute, because something's going to snap you. Those two young girls, they snapped me out of it, and I'm very grateful for them. This kitty, because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we can't always get ourselves out of it, so something has to get our attention to kind of shake us out of it, and that's what happened last night. So it was very intense and very scary. Like I was literally like my heart was just boom, 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 and it was painful, and my voice it's kind of hoarse because you scream, and we're shifting, so it feels like it feels like a roller coaster, and like you can't get out of the loop. Well, like it's just like confusing, but I know that you all can do this. Some of you aren't ready yet, and you're looking at me like you're just a crackpot. Well, no, I'm not a crackpot. I'm very much enlightened and awake. And as I had stated before, this is what Jesus was telling us, Joshua. See, they'd say he'd be calm 1 minute and then he'd be tearing things down, because he was tearing down the matrix, saying like, wake up. There is a lot of darkness, and this is what people are trying to wake you up to see. But the news and that and the television, it's a matter of tell lies to your vision. Okay? Remember the green screen. Okay? They can put a green screen on anytime. I didn't upload the video yet. I have a video where I was watching. I hear crickets. You can say this. I was watching anger management. And I had said this before, watching anger management. And it was really weird. Like it was demonic. Like the voices. And they were saying, like I was understanding some of what they were saying. And they were laughing at us humans. Okay? Some people say, oh, the humans. Humans are this, humans are that. Well, it wasn't the humans that caused this. And now, we're all here to help. I'm an energy in a capsule. And as time goes by, when you're waking up, we're all getting younger. Okay, I went into a place. I donate clothes. Like I've been donating a lot of my clothes because my wardrobe is changing. I'm changing. We're all changing. And I took the clothes in, and I got a couple more things from there. Mind you, I took like 4 or 5 bags in, and I took like, what was it? Like 5 things I bought. It was $14 I paid for it. And when I was paying for it, she looked at me and she said, like, she said I was a Barbie doll. It's like, no, not a Barbie doll. And she's like, sorry, like, I didn't mean to say that. And it's like, no, that's okay. I said, I'm not a Barbie doll. I said, I'm 48 years old. She's like, what? She's like, I thought you were like 25. I know people flatter you, but I do know that I look younger. I'm in much better shape. 2 years ago, I was in really bad shape. I was eating very crappy, drinking pop, eating potato chips, because it was just like you get in this. What happens is you get in a depression. It's like a depression. Well, you need deep rest. And we're being pushed and pushed and pushed. No, get back to work. Get back to work. Here, take this pill. Get back to work. Don't take the pill. Slow down. Take time for yourself. So you can center. Okay? Now, as I had stated yesterday, my sister, she's getting a little frustrated, and I'm kind of trying to keep calm, because I know it's like you get these little edges that try to push your buttons. So I'm okay with that. And like I explained to her with the universal light language, sometimes it's just a message from my higher self to yours. So I don't say it in English. Okay? Mariaska totoshkale. Kututuskire patakaria patakania to kurigai. Kala ashkule ala kuri, kuriaska taputakaria matakotoputki. That was saying that right now it's going inside, okay, and pushing the, like, kind of going inside but pushing the love out and popping the pineal gland, seeing things for what it is. I had one of my sisters, I was explaining to her, and, well, how do I know you're speaking a language, like translate it? And it's like there's not a lot of people that can translate it, at least not yet, but it's coming. Have a little patience. So when I was sitting there, I was trying to explain things to her, and it was more of, okay, she was telling me about, she would feel this person. It was like somebody was sitting at the foot of her bed. She could feel this person sitting there. And I was like, well, that's Mom. And she was talking, and I said about it, and she said about, well, not everything is spiritual. Well, it is. We just need to realize that it's spirituality is an energy. It's the energy level that we come in. We're told that, no, you got to think this way, you got to be this way, you got to do this, you got to work here, this is all you're going to amount to. Okay, I've said before, think of the movie Ants, the kids movie. Okay, ants. The ants were doing all the work, while the locusts were reaping all the benefits. Got it? So when I was explaining things to her, I said about spirits. Well, she believes in ghosts. Well, wait a minute. A ghost is a spirit. Spirituality. So, like, there's people out there putting out different information, what chemicals and what stuff they're putting in our bodies. And I had one person today I was watching, and they said a mayor in New York was telling people, oh, drink tap water. Tap water is good for you. Well, no, it's not, because it's got lead, fluoride, all the stuff. They say, oh, fluoride's good for your teeth. No, it's not. Fluoride is going to decay your teeth, and it's going to calcify. I was drinking stuff right under the tongue, okay, down there. I had crap piles of calcium buildup, and I don't really have any now, because I've stopped using fluoride. I said I use baking soda to brush my teeth. I've been doing a lot of crying, which is good, because it helps to clear the buildup. So don't be afraid to cry, because crying is good. And like, if you're feeling pain, it's because you're waking up. So your body is shifting. Like I wake up in the morning, it's like, oh my God, like, whoa. It's like, I just have wings and I just want to pop them out. And that's what it feels like. It feels like something wants to just pop out. It's like a butterfly in a cocoon. They go through the periods, and I've had wise people tell me that. And do I believe them? Oh yeah, that's 100%. So just remember that when something don't make sense, it probably don't make sense for a reason. It means that, wait a minute, this ain't real. It's fear, false information appearing real. So take a minute and step away. I have to remind myself to do that, but everything happens for a reason. So yesterday, it was meant to happen. It kind of helps to expand. Okay. And I met two beautiful young ladies in the process of doing it. So that's why I say everything happens for a reason. It was to let them know. So today there was a sandbox under one of our trees, and it had, well, we know it as a sandbox, and it had a bunch like plants in it, like the ground took over and what have you. And I took and I ripped it all out and got down to the wood, and we're turning it into sandbox for the kids that live in front of us. I told them that like they're more than welcome to play in the backyard because it's a very big backyard. So just yesterday, I said to my nephew, I said, do you want to come mow my lawn for me? No, your lawn's too big. So, but I was joking with him, but I do want him to come and like play around. If your kids want to climb a tree, just be outside with them, let them climb the tree. I mean, think of when you were a kid. We need like we are adults. We got to wake up, but we got to remember when we were kids, we seen. There was no fear. Fear is taught to us. We're told, no, you got to fear this. You got to be afraid of that. Well, no, you don't. Okay. I have someone to tell me, like, don't go around, like, don't let a deer get too close to you because it'll rip you to pieces. Well, they can, but it's because they feel threatened. Sorry. They feel threatened. And a lot of the animals, the reason why they're attacking is because we've been hurting them. We've been taking their environment. The other night, like I was sitting outside, or last week, I was sitting outside, and all of a sudden this thing come walking in front of me, and I didn't run in the house. I lifted my legs, and I just kind of sat there, and it beelined back, and I was sitting there, and I could feel something looking at me. And I looked, and I seen this thing sitting on the step, and I have a pair of binoculars. And I put the binoculars up to my eyes like that, and I was looking. And here was this raccoon sitting at the bottom of the steps, just looking at me. And it was so cute. And I'm sitting there, and like it didn't get scared by me. And I started talking to the raccoon, and it's like it started talking back, like, you're not going to hurt me. It's like, no. And I said, like, you can eat the stuff in my yard, but don't touch my garbage. So I had garbage, and I was sitting there, and it was just like this. And then all of a sudden I looked, and here he was walking up. We have this little thing outside to put our ashes in, our stove ashes. I mean, there's none in it now, but we have it upside down, and I put birdseed in there. And he went up like this, and he was eating it, and then he got down, and he looked at me, and I said, no, you're okay. So he just kind of sauntered around the yard with me out there, didn't feel threatened. It's when they feel threatened, kind of like us. When we feel threatened, we come out fighting, right? We go into that mode, like we're being attacked. We're being starved. We're doing this. So we're coming out full-fledged. And some of us are on different dimensions. Like I'm up here a lot of the time, but sometimes I come down here, not TV, but it's the armor of God. Like someone ticks me off. Okay. And it's a matter of pick your battles. Okay. But the person that I told was a coward and a bully and a hypocrite. They're coming around now. And I said, they are a very hard soul because they were taught a certain way for so many years, and join and the organization that they worked for, it's like beat them down, beat them down, beat them down, beat them down. Keep their vibrations low, keep their vibrations low. Well, he's coming up and he's speaking and he's saying, like, because this person was all for the Canadian Prime Minister. Okay. Not anymore. Sees right through. And we're all seeing through. Okay. They're reading off a teleprompter, or they're reading off a piece of paper because they're little puppets and they're being told how to speak, how to dress, how to act. Somebody calls it prestige. I'm not prestige. Here I am in my bikini and I put my shorts on right in front of you, and that's okay. Basically what I said there is that I'm being authentic, and this is live, and like things happen, like my battery, so I had to come in my house. It's just things that happen, and it is what it is. Yesterday, like I said, after the young girls come and asked me if I was okay, I kind of snapped out of it. And I started laughing at myself because I thought, oh my geez, I'm going freaking crazy. But I'm not going crazy. So I'm going to leave you all with that. So I hope that you understand it a little more, that like, okay, yes, weird things are happening, and it's part of the wake up, and you're going from time to time or shift to shift. So just hang in there, and you're going to be fine. And let the light in, let the energy come in. Like I said, waking up it's not easy. It can be very painful. Very painful. But it's worth it. It's very much worth it. Eliminate the junk food, the fast food, the processed food. Like sometimes I drop down and I have, like, I don't eat processed food. Well, except they're veggie burgers, but you can still see the peas and carrots and that in it. So I don't know how processed that is. I eliminated sugar. I drink water and tea, and sometimes I'll have a coffee. Smoothies, because it's fruit, and it's the quickest way to bring in the light. Right, Ireland? Deskada! It's right there. So remember one thing. Don't sweat them. Enjoy the little things. And remember There is a psychic in you. Neshkele, tuturskiran, ikototayashkele, Grimia, Esquele, Tupushkelen, Butukuriaskaratiki. Tureskana Nariskie, a Hushkele. So, feel with your heart, take in the light, spread your arms, absorb the sun, and center. Okay? And get ready to fly. Because we are all going to fly one day. Sooner than later. Namaste to you all. Love you. Yeah. Yashkara, tiskiri tuturi. Kita pone maras que para escolher.